One of the best things terrorists could do is just build more fast food restaurants, maybe add another pharmaceutical company, have a couple more infomercials, and encourage people to eat the way they eat now. And everybody's going to be dead in 100 years. They can just walk right in, don't have to do a thing.
One quarter of what you eat keeps you alive, and 3/4 of what you eat keeps your doctor alive.
I used to get high for a living, eating all the bullshit food that sold me.
Cancer rates going up, heart disease going up, stroke going up.
We're poisoning ourselves with highly processed, nutrient-depleted foods.
One of the major problems is what we do to the soil and the air and the water and everything we take in, our food.
We, for whatever reason, decided we're going to spray everything with every kind of pesticide, herbicide, larvicide, fungicide. We decided we're going to genetically modify things we don't know anything about. Can we actually improve what has already been created? And the answer is maybe, but not the way we've been doing it.
If you want to know what's wrong, look down at the table. It's staring back at you.
Think of it as chronic malnutrition, because that's what's going on.
But if we think we're going to go to the doctor and get a pill for everything, we've missed the whole point. We have been taught our whole lives to be consumers of modern medicine, which is pharmaceutical medicine. Good health makes a lot of sense, but it doesn't make a lot of dollars.
Now, the drug industry has every right to make money, no question about that at all. The ethics, I think, need to be very closely watched.
What the pharmaceutical companies are doing may not necessarily be in the interest of our population.
You can be as sincere, and you can be sincerely wrong.
Approximately 106,000 Americans die from pharmaceutical drugs each year. And these are people who took the medication as directed.
There's a lot more turning to alternatives because what's being done beforehand doesn't work.
There is no magic bullet, but there is a lifestyle change that reverses serious chronic disease. It's cheap, it's simple, it's safe, it's effective.
The solutions are here. They've always been here. Every single person in the world, every culture, every language, every person in the world knows it. You are what you eat. Food does matter.
It's a choice.
Our youngest son, Kearley, is severely autistic and nonverbal. According to doctors, his sight is normal, and yet he seems to have problems with his vision. We don't know how much he understands. His communication is so limited. We were an ordinary family, both with good jobs, leading comfortable lives with our two wonderful boys, Eric and Una. But when Kaylee was born, everything changed. Kaylee doesn't have normal body movement, and his body awareness seems to be limited. It's common among autistic children to be very sensitive to touch. With Kaylee, his sensitivity is not as severe now as it was when he was younger. It's the most agonizing frustration not to be able to hold your child when something's wrong with them. We tried a whole variety of recommended treatments that unfortunately produced very little result. The only therapy that has been of some use is called applied behavioral analysis, but not to the degree that we had hoped for. But the program for him is mainly about teaching basic skills like eating and dressing. Kaylee isn't taught regular subjects like reading or math.
Jawel. Äppla, sa vi. Öppna. Ja. Lelle. Flytt. Så.
I want to meet the most eminent and skilled experts on autism to get a better understanding of this most mysterious and complex condition. Autism, my sunshine boy. I started by visiting one of the most famous autistic individuals in the world, who has written many books on the subject. At the age of 4, she was completely nonverbal and considered mentally retarded. Her parents were advised to put her in an institution, but her mother would not accept this. It was discovered later that Temple has far above average intelligence. Temple Grandin overcame her autism and is now a professor of animal sciences at the University of Colorado.
Autism is a disorder of the interconnections between brain systems. The brain kind of has like 3 main parts. Down in the base, you've got all the primitive old systems, the emotion center, the amygdala, you got all the life support stuff that makes you breathe, all that kind of stuff. Then you've got around the top of the brain, you've got the gray matter, that's the processors. Then in between that, you got a giant big layer, it's like that thick, of white matter. And what white matter is, it's the cables that interconnect all the different parts of the brain together. So like half of the brain consists of interconnecting cables that wire up all the massively interconnected parts. And that's the thing that's got the disorder in autism. But it's variable, you know, from a lot of stuff that's misconnected to maybe you have a genius Asperger, or you have someone like Einstein, genius scientist, who would be diagnosed autistic today, and his math and graphics design department got wired together with 100 internet connections. Then the social things tend to be the things that tend to not get wired. There's some people that appear completely low functioning that can't talk, probably never will talk, but they can learn to read and they can learn to type. Because you see, reading and typing is on a different brain circuit than talking is.
The Mullimans live in Wisconsin with their daughter and 3 autistic sons.
Hi there.
My name's Margaret.
Hi, nice to meet you,
Nice to
Becky.
see you.
Yes, you too. Come on in. This is my mother, Nancy, and our baby girl, Lily. This is Maddox, our 2-year-old, Gavin, our 3-year-old, Clay, who is 4, and my dad, Gary. My parents live not too far away, and they help us quite a bit. My husband, Abe, who is at work right now and couldn't be here today, and myself and Clay are going to Michigan tomorrow to meet Dr. Kathy Lord. She is going to do some autism testing on Clay because he does not have an autistic diagnosis yet.
Was a cheese.
I would say out of the 3, Clay is probably the lowest functioning. And he has not really even had a diagnosis yet because every doctor gives him a PDD diagnosis. He has never had the actual autism diagnosis. He and Gavin have.
Parenthood isn't what Alicia and Andrew Moore expected. They love their little son William to bits, but living with his autism has taken everything they've got. Now a controversial treatment is offering some hope to families like theirs.
Okay, come down to your room. William.
I've looked forward to becoming a mum all my life. This is meant to be something that I enjoy. But it's not fun at all. It's like, I just felt so helpless and alone in it.
There are times Mum, Alicia Harrison, wishes she too could crawl under a chair and never come out.
I did go into my room lots of times and just pick up a pillow and just scream into it and just go, oh. I felt better after that though.
Her 4.5-year-old son, William, has autism. But instead of hiding away, this brave young mum's taken a courageous step, making a video diary of her son's episodes.
When I was trying to figure out what was going on with William, there was nothing out there. And it's one thing to read about something, but to actually see footage of it, was a big, you know, like, okay, people can relate.
Parents are often too ashamed, distressed or distracted to film their children in this sort of state.
The first time I put a video on, I was a bit apprehensive and I took it down more than once. And I was a bit, you know, and you get some nasty comments and things like that and people trying to tell you how you should be doing things.
But for Alicia, filming William has been a positive experience.
I felt like it was the quickest way to get the diagnosis that we needed. So I would film everything he was doing because I felt the way I was explaining it, I wasn't quite getting through. So I thought, well, if I film it, we can show his paediatrician, we can show all the doctors, we can show all his therapists that this is what he's like all the time.
Husband Andrew works as a fly-in fly-out worker in the mines, a sacrifice the family had to make so they could earn the extra $700 a week it costs for specialist treatment for William, including occupational and speech therapy, as well as a new addition to the family, a guidance pooch.
I can't even explain what he does, but they're just best of friends and just love each other, and I don't think there's any judgment, so I think William can sense that. Willie can scream on the floor and Flynn will come up and lie down next to him and William will lie on him like a pillow, and it's just beautiful.
Parents of autistic kids are willing to try anything for a bit of relief. In this case, it's 1.5-year-old assistance dog Flynn who's really helping William. There's also increasing evidence that diet plays a vital role in these behavioural disorders.
I believe that both children with autism and those with ADHD can be treated quite effectively with diet changes, supplementation with nutrients that they're lacking, and behavioural therapy.
Dr. Jacques Duff runs the Behavioural Neurotherapy Clinic in Melbourne. He has a controversial belief.
I think drugs should be the last resort. The first resort should be changing their diet and nutrients and supplementing, and then drugs, if needed, in the medium, but I don't think it's a good idea in the long term.
Dr. Duff claims many children with autism have low levels of zinc, magnesium, vitamins B, C and D, selenium and omega-3s. He boosts these nutrients and adjusts his patients' diets.
If I take children off the refined carbohydrates, particularly the cereal grains, and increase their intake of legumes, pulses and vegetables, and reduce the amount of red meat that they have and give them more fish, there is quite a significant difference.
This was Jabin 10 years ago, before he was put on Dr. Duff's regime.
Oh, they're the same.
Today, his mum Tracy says he's a new boy.
And he's really happy. He's just a happy chappy when he's taking supplements. It's awesome.
And how do they make you feel?
Happy.
If he doesn't take these, do you notice behavioural differences in him? Yes. His speech will drop off, his attention to people will drop off. He's more easily agitated and much less pleasant to be around, really.
Alicia says refining William's diet has also helped her son.
Yes, so he has lots of nutrients and supplements that are like zinc and iron and calcium and then other enzymes to help break down food.
There's no cure for autism, but in this case, intervention and a brave mum have made a big difference.
There's lots of help out there. Just embrace your child and just try and find what will best work for your child.
It's important work, isn't it? Is your family affected by autism and how do you cope? Share your experience on our Facebook page or via Twitter.